landmarks. Okay, so to start off, I just wanted to kind of show you where Spain is located. It's actually in the continent of Europe, and it is in that little red filled in country right there. And the little red circles are also like Spanish territories. So those like islands in the Mediterranean. And so just a little introduction to Spain. It is located on what is known as the Iberian Peninsula, and it's bordered by France and Portugal. And it's actually the only European country to have a border with an African country, which is Morocco. And you can kind of see that to the bottom of the picture. And then just a little bit more about Spain. The capital city is Madrid, which you can see in the center of the country in the big yellow region. And the population is around 46 million people. And of those people, about 90% are Spanish and about 10% are of a different ethnicity, so they aren't actually Spanish. And then the official language of Spain is Spanish, but it has subgroup languages known as Catalan, Galician, Basque, and Asturian, which you can see in the different regions in the picture. So that's kind of where those languages are spread about in the country. And then religion-wise, about 68% of Spain is Roman Catholic, and then 27% are irreligious, and then there's a little bit of other religions present as well. So to go off of that, we're going to start out with religious landmarks like we saw in Pakistan and Scotland. So this is the Cathedral of Santiago of Compostela. And this cathedral is located in what is known as Galicia, Spain. And it's actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It was named that in 1985 because of its cultural significance. It's believed to be the resting place of St. James the Great, who was one of the apostles of Jesus Christ, which is one of the reasons it's given this cultural significance. And the tower-like structures that you see at the front are known as facades, and these are very popular in the cathedrals that we see in Spain. And you'll see them in the future cathedrals that I show you as well. And for stylistic reasons, this cathedral is primarily Romanesque, and so it's inspired by Roman construction and architecture. And this is another cathedral, which is known as the Leone Cathedral. It's located in León, Spain, and it's also known as the House of Light. It's also based on Roman architecture, and it actually was also a palace for one of the kings of Spain. And so just a kind of different looking cathedral. This is the Valencia Cathedral, which is located in Valencia, Spain. And it was built between the 13th and 15th century. And you can kind of see the difference of the outside. You don't really see those facades that we saw in the León or the Santiago of Compostela Cathedral. And then on the picture in the right, you can see the inside, which has the pretty art and the arches and all of that kind of stuff. And so then there's actually like another cathedral that I'm going to show you. This is La Sagrada Familia. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's one of the most like popular landmarks in Spain, and it's an unfinished Roman Catholic church. Its construction began in 1883, and it still remains under construction to this day. It was designed by Antoni Gaudí, who is a famous designer in Spain. He died in 1926, but it still follows his design, and they're still working on it. And it's located in Barcelona, which is on the east coast of Spain. And in this picture, it's actually been digitally manufactured to remove the cranes and all of the construction. So I've actually inserted a picture of what it actually looks like with these cranes. So you can kind of see what his vision was, but now what it looks like today when it's still under construction. And so here on the map of Spain, I have outlined where these cathedrals are located, so you can kind of see how spread out these landmarks are. And then moving on, we're going to move into some natural landmarks like we saw in both Pakistan and Scotland. So this is the Meadow Natural Park, and it is also a UNESCO reserve location because it has varied wildlife and forests, and it's actually located in the Cantabrian Mountains, which is in the north of Spain, and it is made up of 4 different valleys. And it's a haven for a lot of wildlife, including brown bears, golden eagles, boars, and wolves. And I've actually put a picture of some of those animals that you would see in the national park here. And these are actually pictures that were taken in that park. So there's a brown bear on one of the cliffs overlooking the valley, and a golden eagle. And then another natural landmark in Spain were the ancient gold mines, which you can see here in this picture. And they date all the way back to the 1st century AD, so they're very old landmarks. and they're actually an example of technology that you would have seen back in that time. So the Romans actually introduced a specific way of mining gold, so they used water to kind of wear away at the rocks to reveal the gold. And then another natural landmark is Cathedrals Beach, which you can see here, and it's actually getting its name because it looks like some of those cathedrals were put onto the beach. And then another one is Tabernas Desert, and it's located in Almeria, Spain, and it's actually known as the driest region in all of Europe. And it has very little rainfall every year, but when it does rain there, the rainfall is massive and torrential, so it causes a lot of erosion and a lack of plant life to grow. But it is home to quite a few animals. It's home to some reptiles, such as the ladder snake, some amphibians, such as the ocellated lizard, and also some birds of prey. It's not home to very many mammals, but one of the mammals that does live there is the Algerian hedgehog. And then lastly, Spain has a lot of museums. I actually visited a couple museums while I was there. And so this museum, El Prado, is located in the capital, which is Madrid. And it's more of a traditional museum that holds a lot of like art and statues and sculptures and those kind of things from around the 12th century to the 19th century. And it's actually the National Art Museum. But there are also many other museums in Spain that are a little bit different from El Prado, including the Guggenheim Museum. So you can kind of see how different this museum is architecturally from El Prado. It's more contemporary. It's located in Bilbao, Spain, which is on like the north part of the country. And its exhibits are very different in comparison to El Prado. It's not so much like paintings and art and sculptures like that. It has more like creative exhibits, and I've inserted a few of those right here. So you can see there's the big statue of the animal balloon dog, and then there's also what looks like a giant spider, and then just a statue of a bunch of silver balls. So it's a little bit different, but it is something really interesting that Spain has, and a lot of people go to see that. And so now I have a few questions for you. So the first question is, which landmark in Spain would you most want to visit? And you can go ahead and write it and put it in the chat.
Sagrada Famlia, the Spider Place, Cathedral Beach, Cathedral Beach. The first cathedral, Santiago de Compostela, the desert. So,
a lot of different places you guys would want to visit. And then I have another question. Which style of cathedral did you guys like more? Did you like the more traditional one, like Santiago de Compostela, or would you rather go to something like La Sagrada Familia?
One said traditional. Someone said they want to see the Real Madrid Stadium.
Ooh, yeah.
One said Sagrada Familia.
Sagrada Familia.
Yes, it's a mix of
half
and half.
Okay. And then lastly, a more advanced question. How do you guys think the importance of art in Spanish culture has influenced the construction of its landmarks, specifically with like La Sagrada Familia or the Guggenheim in mind?
Thinking on that.
I'm thinking.
Religious and historical influences. Their location and religion has influenced them. Spanish design.
Spanish design, yep, that's a big one. Yeah. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do kind of a little assessment to see what kind of experts you are now on these landmarks. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a picture of a landmark on the screen, and we want you guys to guess using the chat which country you think it's from. Okay, so you go ahead and put it in the chat which country you think this is from.
Spain.
Yep, it's from Spain. And it's the ancient gold mines. So here's another one.
Pakistan.
Yep. Good job. This is the Badshahi Mosque in Lahore. And you can tell because of the shape of the domes. And now one last one. So where's this from?
Scotland.
Yep, you got it, guys. This is Scotland. This is Edinburgh Castle, the heart of the country's capital. Sorry.
So now what we're going to do is we kind of thrown in landmarks that you have not seen yet in this, and we want you to try and guess based on the style. Hey guys, we're back.
We're
Technical
back.
difficulties.
What about this one, guys? Back where we left off.
Scotland.
Nice. Yep, this is Scotland. This one's in the Highlands too, also by water, which is good.
And what about this one?
Spain.
Yep. This is from Spain. It is the Cathedral of Santa Maria of Palma, which is located in Mallorca, Spain, which is actually one of those islands that I showed you on the first map.
You guys did really well with that.
Yeah, you learned a lot.